Hi everyone, it's Chukuma from Mastermind Automobile Solutions. Today we want to talk about the problems we solved in this Toyota Tundra. It had a lot of engine problems, so we're going to talk to you about some of the ways we solved them. Kindly like our video, subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment. Thank you. So we're called in to pick up this car because it had problems with performance. The check engine lights kept on blinking. The car couldn't go past 3 RPM, 3,000 RPM, which is revolutions per minute. In the dashboard where you have the figures 1, 2, 3, and so on. It didn't go past 3, and that signaled a problem with its performance. Of course, a car that cannot go past that 3,000 RPM, there's no way it can really move. So that limited its movement. Now, on the surface, when we scanned the car, we found two major diagnostic faults. One was the secondary air injection system, and the other had to do with random multiple cylinder misfires. So the first thing we did was to solve the secondary air injection system fault. This is the component, the major component that has to do with that aspect. So it's somewhere at the back of this engine cover. So if when we took out the old one, we could see that this one was altered in different places. This secondary air injection system located at the back of this engine cover area, we took it out and we replaced it. So we also replaced the connectors behind it as well. And then the first result we got was that the engine began to rev normally. It revved past the 3,000 RPM, both on the road and in idle mode. So we had ruled out the RPM problem and the revs problem. So what next did we have to do? The performance issues, it was having. The car was misfiring, multiple cylinder misfires. Now, the easiest way we deal with that kind of problem when we get such diagnostic reports is to swap around the coils. So we take a cylinder from a particular bank and put in the other cylinder and see if that corrects it. So a working cylinder to a cylinder that is not already working or has the fault code. So when we did that, we still had the same results. The coils and plugs in the same cylinder malfunctioned in another cylinder. Understand that when you have misfires, it could be coils, it could be plugs. But in this case, it was deeper than that. It had problems to do with the internals of the engine, essentially the top of the engine. And when you have such problems, the first thing to do is to drop the engine. So you see what the top is like, and then you're going to see what the internals of the engine essentially is like. Because if it's not a surface fault, then the problem is from the internals. This is what we did by stripping down the engine, and we ruled out a lot of problems and corrected it. So when we stripped down the engine, we saw problems with the timing. The timing wasn't properly set. We saw problems with some of the pistons, the way they were. We also saw basically different issues with the internals of the engine, which will definitely go on to affect the top cylinder and give out the performance issues we're having. So what did we now do? We proceeded to set the timing correctly. We proceeded to correct everything that needed to be done. Now, on a closer look, I saw this VVT solenoid. It stands for variable valve timing. You see them in most cars. It's VVT in Toyota, Lexus. So it's located somewhere here. It's the first bank one, and we noticed that they had used a kind of gum to attach it and used a different wire than the ones that should be used to put on it. So this alone can affect performance and even how the engine runs. So we've changed out this particular sensor solenoid. We've put in another one. So when we finished all the work, I've done a test drive on the car, and I can say it's running as it should. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to rev it, and we are going to see that the car is now performing very well. So I'm going to start the car up and test out some of what we've done. You hear the sound, you see the revs, and even what the performance is like now. So it starts right up. You can hear the engine sound. You can see where the RPM is. Really normal. And then when I rev it, you see what it goes on to be like. You see, it goes on to even 6,000 RPMs. This is a car that couldn't go past 3,000. That's it again. It going on to 6,000 RPMs, even when it couldn't go past 3,000 RPMs before. So you can see that our work is concluded. I'm going to have a look at the diagnostics again to see what this check light still looks like. Sometimes when you do a lot of connections and disconnections, that check light can be, showing an obstruction. But of course, I'm going to plug in a scan tool and see what the faults reading there are like. I'm pretty sure that we've eliminated the faults that were causing misfires and not going past 3,000 RPMs. So we turn it off. If we look closely, you see that it's actually a sharp looking car. An Android screen has been put here. Dashboard looks so good. So the car is now not just big for nothing. It's a car that is actually going to perform well. So you can see the Tundra, very nice exterior as well. Some work has been done, some level of upgrading. Great exterior, looks really good. And it now works well. So it doesn't just look good, just good. It works well, it runs well now, performs well. And we can confirm that we've delivered like we always do. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to our channel, like our video, leave us a comment. Thank you.